This is episode 74, the number one thing we don't know we need. Welcome to Alive by Design. My name is Blake Mallon, and we're here to bring you inspiring people, principles, and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. Open your mind and let's dive in. Hey guys, before you listen to the podcast, I just want to drop in and say I appreciate you for being here, and I'm super excited about this new Walk With Me series. These are solo episodes where I take some time in the middle of my morning run through the Santa Monica Mountains to share some inspired ideas and thoughts on my mind and heart. If you want to join me for any of these conversations live, you can catch me many mornings on my Facebook page, facebook.com/BlakeMallon.page. Would love to see you there. Love you guys. Enjoy the episode. Walk with me. So I'm coming off a phenomenal weekend. Like, I'm buzzing, energy high. Don't you love when you have periods in your life to just kind of fill your cup, recharge you, create clarity, and just give you that extra juice, that extra mojo to go to the next level? That's how I'm feeling, so I warn y'all, this will be a good conversation here today. And I'm coming off a trip, actually. Spent the last few days out in Kentucky, and then Orlando for our company and organization. We had a big virtual event, but flew out there because we built an amazing Zoom room studio to bring all of the living rooms all across the world together and share some valuable information. It was our largest virtual event to date, and the feedback so far coming off of it has been amazing. So if you plugged in, it was great to see you and be there virtually with many of you, people all over the world plugged in. And you know, what's interesting is it was designed as a virtual event. But what ended up happening is one of our leaders, definitely a self-starter, initiator, Stephanie, you're a rock star, decided to come on out to the office and invite a couple people just to be around the energy of the event, even though it wasn't a formal in-person meeting. And from that initial kind of idea and what started as an invitation to a handful of people, just kind of snowballed over the course of the week heading into the experience, where a couple people turned into a couple more, turned into a couple more. And then some other leaders heard the rumors that, wow, people are coming out to our headquarters. So they decided to do the same thing. And long story short, this virtual event, we ended up having, I don't even know the full number, maybe 150 people would be my guess. End up making the trip. How you doing? End up making the trip from all over the country. And I learned something in my interaction this weekend, outside of just the phenomenal information delivered in the event and from the thought leaders and speakers. That was phenomenal. But what I learned actually came from all the individuals that decided to show up. And what hit me most, my biggest takeaway, was how important community is. That word community, how it's not just something we may want right now, not even something we may be craving right now, but I really believe community is something at a fundamental human level. It's something we need, and it's something we need right now, probably more than ever in all of our lifetimes. And I want to unpack that conversation because it's deeper than maybe what you might think of what I mean by community, and how important it is for us as individuals, us as leaders, us as entrepreneurs, now more than ever. Community. Now, that word you may have different words for. when I say community, I'm talking about your crew, your tribe, your squad, your people, right? At the nature or core, I'm talking about relationships that are close to you or that you hold a high value or high regard in. And I know it's kind of an obvious topic coming off a year where we haven't had the same type of community because of lack of physical proximity. But my conversation and thought today is I don't think we realize how deep of an impact that's having and how big of a need we really have. And as I was sharing the story, getting out of breath, hit the top. Here's the top. You got Santa Monica. You can see the pier way down there. You got Malibu this side. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna take a seat. Hey, this weighted vest adds some weight. It's a big hill. But that hit me hard this weekend when we had an event that really wasn't an in-person get-together. It really wasn't a formal invite. There wasn't really an invitation or a promotion. But just because of the rumor that people were going to be getting together, 100, 150, maybe 200 people got on a plane, drove, and showed up because something in them told them they needed to plug in to community right now. You guys, that's a huge, huge statement. And me coming off that experience, it hit me hard just how much that has been missed, how much we are craving, how much we all really need a community wrapped around us. And I think that's true always. And I think that's amplified and maybe even hitting a pressure point, a threshold point right now. And you guys, it goes deeper than the word community, right? What I'm really talking about is built into a human DNA. I believe it's at our core as human beings, right? It is our nature. We are tribal, right? We are tribal people. We are pack animals, right? We are not, lone, wolves or lone, soldiers. By nature, we are designed and created to live within community, right? Ever since we've existed, and true even more so today. And I think if you unwrap the layer of community, we're talking about relationships. And more than just relationships, but real, authentic, genuine relationships, right? That care about you and you care about them. Matter of fact, there is a very famous study out there. I've mentioned it in some of our past conversations. And it's something I always reference because it's at the core of who we are. And it was one of the longest studies on positive psychology ever done. It was a Harvard graduating class that they tracked for, I think, almost 80 years with the core question, what are the common things that make for a most successful, right, and happy life? And some of the obvious things you would guess, maybe things like money or status or career or, location, all of those variables were measured. But at the end of the day, what the key finding was, the people that were the most successful, were the happiest, and actually linked to vitality, longevity, actually lived the longest, right? Healthy and happy. It came down to the number one consistent thing those people had were a core group of real relationships, a core community around them. So guys, this isn't just a metaphorical conversation. It is a biological conversation. Like, we have a physical need for this around us. It is the thing that allows us to excel, right, in health and happiness and wealth. Therefore, it is also the thing that if not provided, if taken away, if removed, it's also the thing that can have the opposite effect on our happiness, on our success, on our health, mentally and physically. And we're coming off a period of time where it's been the hardest probably in our lifetime, maybe even, right, in generations, for us to have and experience that thing we need, community. You guys see, community it's the unknown need, right? We know we need food. We know we need shelter. We know in the world we live in, we need a certain amount of money. There's certain needs that we would rattle off at the top of our mind if we said, what do you need most? Rank them right now, prioritize. Probably none of us, if put on the spot with what you absolutely need to survive, would put community, right, really, really high on the list. Yet community is the thing that sometimes we are unaware how much we truly, truly need. So it's about relationship. It's about belonging, right? It's about knowing that you belong to something other than just yourself. You fit in, right? You have a circle around you that you can lean on and you can trust, because that's what community is all about. And I think today, now more than ever, community is the new currency. Community is the new currency. Community is something, guys, that we need and something that we need to give. It's something we have to have and it's something we have to provide, right? Community, guys, is the currency of today, now more than ever. And I think that would be true minus pandemic, but I think it's 10 times, 20 times, 100 times true because of what we've all been through. Community. So you might be saying, well, Blake, I understand, right? What does that mean? Yeah, I understand. Community means relationships. Community means belonging. Community means real, authentic, genuine connection. Community means feeling a part of. Community means having a circle around you that's greater than just you. Community means providing an element of safety and security. Community means all of those things in that one word, community. What do I do with that information, right? Where do I go with that? A couple thoughts for you all today. First and foremost, got to start with yourself and acknowledging you're a person. You are a human being. And no matter how strong you are, how independent you are, what kind of mindset you have, newsflash, you need a community around you. Who's your community? Who's your people? Who's your tribe? Who's your circle? Tag them below, right now. Who are the people that come to your mind that are your crew, your tribe, your circle? Who is your community right now? Tag them below. Put a smile right on their face. Think about them. When we're done with the conversation, shoot them a text, right? Tell them you appreciate them. Who are those people? And more so than acknowledging or being aware of who, how are you showing up for them and how are they showing up for you right now? In a time where you might have to be a little more creative than ever before. Now, I know we're in an interesting place where it's like the world's starting to open up depending on where you're from and your own kind of risk. The world's going a different direction. I feel like we're going a positive place. You got, certain states starting to loosen a lot of restrictions. I'm here in California, right, which has been crazy strict and conservative. And we're starting to see, progress, which is amazing. Now, I also want to be sensitive and empathetic to the real risks that we're still in, right? The real risk that you as an individual have to decide you are going to take for you and your family and the people around you. Now, I'm an advocate of doing everything still, right, safely. We got to be mindful, right? We can't be naive, right? There's a reason we still have masks. There's a reason we're still social distancing. There's things we have to do, right? The vaccine is starting to roll out. I think that's an amazing option, right, for people to make a decision for themselves. And now we're able to have that. And I have a lot of people around me that have already taken that step. So we're going that positive direction. I'm in no way here to nudge somebody to do something that they would feel is not safe. But I am here to create a level of awareness around our own need for community. Whether that mean starting to get together safely in a physical proximity, if you feel that's the right decision for you. And if it doesn't, it also means getting creative in how you can create community, right, while still staying within the restrictions, limitations you choose for yourself. Whether that be, having some digital, using virtual environments, continuing to plug in, continue to have those conversations. My main point is it starts with you. You have to fill your cup. You have to make sure you're plugging into that. And if you're not, it's having a greater effect on you probably than you are aware. You guys, this isn't a introvert or extrovert thing, right? We all fall into those buckets, right? Introvert or extrovert. And a lot of people have misnomers on what those really mean. Guys, all that means, someone who's introverted or extroverted, is how we as individuals recharge ourselves, what drains us and what charges us up. right? An extrovert by nature gets recharged by being around the energy of other people, right? And introvert by nature gets recharged by being alone, by themselves, not around other people. And then the vice versa is true. So an extrovert gets drained when they're not around other people. And an introvert, right, gets drained when they are around other people. Now, in no means does it mean that one or the other enjoys people more, right? It doesn't mean that one or the other doesn't know how to be likable or, carry on conversation. A lot of people think that, if you're outgoing, you must be, extroverted. Guys, it has nothing to do with that. There's plenty of introverts that have learned to be people, right? There are plenty of introverts in, professions or careers or circles where they are dealing with groups of people every day, but by nature, they recharge by themselves. Right? I'm an introvert, right? By nature, I recharge by myself. I love people. I love being around people. I love showing people experiences. I love groups. I love all of that. But I also am aware that when I'm in that environment, it does drain me, which means I have to recharge, right? Introverts out there understand. So you guys, this last year, it's been obviously tough on extroverts not even be able to be around physical people. They might feel more drained, right, than ever before. But it also has had effect, guys, on introverts as well, because at the end of the day, it's not about one or the other. It's about a basic human need for the community around us. We all have that need. So the first thing we need to do is we need to realize community on the list of needs is somewhere very, very high. And it's something we need to be mindful and aware and be plugging in and making sure we are getting that first and foremost. Now, the second thing we might understand is for those of us out there in leadership positions, if you have people that are relying on you and your leadership at any level, right? This could be leadership in a family, it could be leadership in a community, it could be leadership at a job or career or what you do, it could be leadership in a company or a brand, right? If you have made the decision to step up as a leader and be an example for others, we as leaders need to be mindful that community is a need. So as leaders, how are you showing up and providing community and all of the value that gets wrapped around that for the people following your lead? You got to make a conscious decision. You got to create that environment. And for entrepreneurs out there, if you're right now not just a leader, but you're leading a company or an organization or a brand, I challenge you to ask yourself, how are you building a community around your mission, a community around your product, a community around your brand? Because guys, today, community is the new currency. Matter of fact, the mainstream brands of today, if you look at them, they're more than just a widget. They're more than just a logo. They're more than just a great product at a fair price. Guys, they've transcended all of that. The great brands of today understand the power of wrapping a community around what they're bringing to the world. All right? Apple has a community. Harley has a community. I mean, geez, all of the virtual platforms today, their business model is community. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Guys, community is the new currency. So for you as individuals, for all of us, are we filling our cup? How are we plugging in? How are we giving us that need? Just like we have food on the table, right, to eat, we have a roof over our head. Do we have community around us? And if not, you got to make sure you find a way to give that to yourself. As leaders, provide that opportunity to others, and as entrepreneurs, how we wrap community around the mission that we're all on. So guys, that's the conversation I wanted to have with y'all today, inspired by what turned out to be something casual that turned into a little bit of a movement and a big epiphany for me that, wow, the world is ready to connect. The world is ready, right, to get back together. The world is needing and craving community more than we even know right now. And we need to be mindful of that for ourselves, those following our lead and what we're creating together. So my question for all of you today, right, is how can you elevate community in your life this week for yourself? Think about it, right? Write something down, apply it this week. How can you create community for those following you? How can you contribute to the community around the mission that you're on? Guys, those are literal questions. Make a decision, apply them in your life and the life of all around you guys, because I'm telling you right now, more than ever, it is a need for people out there. One more view from the top. Beautiful day. And as always, I thank all of you for our time together. Thank you for being by my side. I will read every single comment. If you want to catch up on past episodes, hey, Alive by Design, search it on all podcast platforms. I love rates and reviews. Subscribe for updates. And until the next time we walk together, hey, here's to community being the new currency and how we can give that and provide that to ourselves and those around us this week. Take care, everybody. Hey guys, one last thing. I'm super excited that this new podcast, Alive by Design, just went live. You see, I designed the show to bring you inspired thoughts and fascinating conversations with the world's most impactful people, to provide transformative principles and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. And I'd love for you to help me spread the word now. Simply subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on this platform right now. So if I've ever given you value, please do me this personal favor and go subscribe now. And if you found today's episode helpful in any way, make sure you share this with at least one friend today. You have the power right now to change someone's day. So send them a text message with a link to alivebydesign.com, or simply copy and paste the link right from this podcast platform. Who's one person you know right now that you want to see succeed, that you want to see grow, that you want to see feel more alive? Shoot them a text with your largest takeaway from today and be a light in their day. And if you were referred here by a friend, make sure you shoot them a text back and say thank you. I'd love to hear from you directly on what you got from today's podcast. So if you're up for it, drop by my Instagram @BlakeMallon and shoot me a DM. And as always, thank you for showing up. I'm grateful for you, and I hope our time together today in some small way helped you feel a little more alive. Until next time.